Hey YouTube, welcome back to MysticTCG, and today we are going to do an in-depth dive into how Rebecca plays. That is some Rebecca gameplay on the sim, since of course on the global end we don't have the cards quite yet. So with this video, I wanted to show you guys essentially what you kind of look to mull for in this matchup. I'm going to be showcasing Whitebeard, because that should be the golden standard on if you can play or not play when you try to put together a deck right now, is unfortunate as to say. So this is going to be some Rebecca from OPO4 versus Whitebeard, and how it will likely play next set, because it doesn't really gain any cards from OPO4. So with that being said, I hope you guys like this content. We're going to get in depth. We're going to discuss every play, the setup, the follow through, the execution, and we have 2 games coming up. It should be pretty educational. So I hope you guys like it. This is going to be a longer video, so I'll put some timestamps in it so you can skip to talking about the decks, game 1, game 2, and yeah, that should be that. I do want to let you guys know I am creeping towards 5,000 subscribers. We're about 150 subscribers away. So yeah, as they always do, every sub counts. I'm looking forward to hitting that big 5-0 and being very happy and proud, as I always am, of the channel. And we got a lot of big announcements coming up. Don't forget, we will be at New York Comic-Con as a content creator guest in the TCG Hall. I've got multiple posts about that on all my socials. If you have any questions about it, ask me. We're going to be cooking up some fun stuff for that. And this weekend I will be commentating at Monroeville, at the Monroeville Battle Spirits Saga event. So there's plenty of things going on in Universe X, and I hope you guys jump in there to check out some of it for yourself. So let's hop over to the sim and show you guys a little bit how Rebecca gets down. So when we jump into it, this is just going to be some limit testing, just kind of going into this myself. So the baseline that we're going to test these decks against is going to be the baseline that every deck should kind of test against, and that is going to be the old Whitebeard. This list in particular is actually Kevin Zhao's list, who just won the Pasadena Regionals. So you've got Whitebeard as a leader, and we'll go through this very quickly. You've got Otama at 4, just a good thing, and also can lower power on a pinch. The 1 of Whitebeard, obviously, 2 Kingdu, 3 Thatch, 4 Jozu, 4 Ace as the primary, and actually in this list only rusher, 4 Makino, 1 of the Singleton Marco blocker, 4 Izo, 4 Speed Jill, 4 Fusa as a blocker. It's good to have a 2-cost blocker, because while red can destroy this very easily, black also will need to generally lower this cost by 1 and then destroy it, meaning it's a 2. And Streusen doesn't just immediately pop this like it would Chopper. So it's a very good, important piece. 4 of the 5-drop Marco. You got 4 Beppo here. He's like a weaker Robin, but realistically 2K. And then you've got 2 Gum Gum Redhawks, a Radical Beam, and 4 guard points. Now, moving forward to the other deck we have here, we're going to go over to Rebecca. And this is a pretty standard list. There may be some sauce that we can like add in later, but the deck is pretty archetype specific. So right here, you got 4 Kaya for the draw 2, trash 2. You've got 4 of the EO blockers. You have got 4 of the Orlumbus, and this guy is just going to be one of the main ways you can lower cost to pop things. You're moving into 4 Gyats, and yeah, he's pretty cool, but mostly a 2K. Curios is going to be another way that you pop blockers and also be able to have a swinger that can have a little bit of insurance. You've got the Sabo, which is going to be more filter and a thicker blocker, and then protection for the first turn from being able to be destroyed. Very nice. Then you have Bartolomeu, another blocker. You've got the main man of the deck, which is Gearforth, a Luffy. You've got Leo, which is going to be another way to destroy something. And then you've also got the searcher for the deck, 3,000 Worlds, Gum Gum King Kong Gun, which is great. And then you've also got Cordia Coliseum. So with that being said, let's actually switch over to the gameplay, and I want to run through a lot of these things. Okay, so running through here, there's a couple things we want to get into place here. Rebecca playing against Whitebeard doesn't necessarily need to do much but worry about setting up its own life, or its own field. You want to be able to have the Luffy swing for ultimate game sometimes as soon as your opponent hits two life. So you really just have to worry about your opening setup. In this hand, you have the Colosseum, which doesn't really come into play this much in this deck. You have a blocker, and you have 3,000 Worlds, which is better when it's in your life. So this is a full mulligan hand. There's nothing in here particularly I'm sold on keeping. And now we've got Kaya. We've eventually going to have Sabo, you know, and this is going first, which is fine with this deck because Kaya and Rebecca themselves are 1-drops. Sabo's a 5-drop. Luffy himself is a 7-drop. So going first is not bad with this deck. Against Whitebeard, you may want to push them to go second just because, but it doesn't really matter with this. You're not really scrapping for the same life to hand to your swinging power ability as other decks. Now over on the Whitebeard's case, this is very weird because personally with Whitebeard, I like to be able to stack up blockers. When I start getting into kill range, I want to be able to block, put as many blockers on board as I can so that they have to come with the responses on top of their kill power. The less Dawn they have to use on that turn where they try to kill you with Luffy, the absolute better. And this hand has a blocker and it has a Radical Beam, a 1-of, and one of the cards we love to see, a 2K, a 5K. This hand is risky, but the main thing is you want to be able to put the pressure on very early versus Rebecca. And this hand has the things I'm going to want in 4 turns, but it has nothing that I want the first 2 turns. So I will mulligan, and we have a Thatch, we have a Jozu. This hand is arguably very much so worse, but we are going to see a lot of cards with Whitebeard, so let's see. So with Rebecca, I'm going to draw my Dawn. I have a Kaya, and frankly, because everything in my hand is okay, I'm going to use her effect first to pay 1, look at the top 2 cards in my deck, and then reveal it to 1 Dressrosa type card. And we'll just take Luffy, we'll need him later, and we'll put the Tongue in the grave. We will pass after that. Now, Whitebeard will draw into Red Hawk, and then with this, I really don't have any options. I actually have to pass. And I get another Atama. This may have been a critical failure on what we were doing, but we shall see. So we're going to keep that there. Next turn with Rebecca, we're going to be able to draw this. So we have pretty much our win condition right here, and now it's a matter of getting things into the grave. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cards. We will deploy because this is gonna go down to 6, draw 2. We do want to use Rebecca's effect, so I'm actually going to deploy this blocker right here, and then I'm going to activate her effect. We don't get to take 3,000 Worlds, we do get to take Bartolomeu, and then we will end our turn. Whitebeard player will be able to draw. That is not helping us at all. We'll draw the Dawn. We still have 1 more turn until we can play Thatch, and not a lot in our hand is playable. So we are really just going to, you don't want to over-invest too much Dawn into Whitebeard against Rebecca, just because Rebecca is going to be able to aggressively counter out of hand to make sure that her skill is like here. So like I can swing for 8 here, and now I have the opportunity to either block it or discard from hand. I want to keep Orlumbus for a blocker later. I want to keep Sabo too. To be completely fair, let's see, 1, 2. I don't think there's really anything that's going to stop us or that's going to keep us from using. I think to maintain our leader ability next turn, we have to go all the way out of our way. So I'm just going to say no blocker, and I'm going to resolve the attack, and we're going to get another blocker. No trigger effect, and from Whitebeard, we'll end the turn with a Red Hawk up. That way, if we do get swung on, we can utilize Red Hawk to get rid of a blocker and just take that off the map later. So drawing a card, a Sabo, drawing the Dawn. I don't think this is the turn for Sabo yet, but actually, I mean, there's not really much else we are going to do. So I think we just cover up the plan. We just activate Sabo, and we draw 2, and from there we already have an Orlumbus, so we can trash that. And we actually have a let's see, we can keep that. That's gonna be a little harder to play, but it's also a 2K. That's a little rough. I'm trying to decide what I get rid of here. I do want to play that other Sabo next turn, TBH, but I also have the Luffy to think of. So we are going to drop the non-2K, and then we are just going to end the turn. Whitebeard is going to be in a bit of a spot next turn. So we're going to draw, and that is a Radical Beam. We're starting to really shape up what we can do here. Draw the Dawn, swing over at here because we know it's just going to get a general attack out. We need to put these cards in the trash as soon as possible. And I would actually just drop that immediately just to stop that and fill up my grave. I'll resolve the attack, and then we can put down the big Thatchy boy, and then pass. Getting a mark of the hand, we're starting to get some gas. Now, I'm going to draw a card. It's going to be Kyrios. We need a blocker desperately. This is going to be very, very bad if we don't get a blocker. So we're going to draw the Dawn, and I think right here, right now, we just put out Luffy, and we are going to chill in that. I would like to have one more Gum Gum King Kong gun. That would just be very nice, but beggars can't be choosers. We have to see exactly what we're going to be doing, and we haven't taken any of the cards out of Whitebeard's hand, so that's a whole nother thing on its own. So we get to sit here. Sabo's 6k, and I think if we swing now, he just literally drops a card in his hand, so we don't. So we'll end. And then, you know, you get the card draw here, which is the Ezo. Hopefully we'll get a blocker off of that. We're going to draw the Dawn, and I think that's one of the first things we do. We just deploy him, and sure enough, we find the Fuso, which I think is going to be very, very important to what we're trying to do, which is survive, obviously. And now we have a bit more we can do for pressure. We have 7 Dawn and a 5 and a 2 cost, and I think that's exactly where we want to be, because we don't have enough to make him Dub Strike. This needs 15 or more cards to make it Dub Strike. So I think that right here, we are fine not playing out the Fuso. We gotta wait. So with this being said, we want to press this a little bit more. We have an 8k swing. We have 7 here, but we want to keep up for Red Hawk, I think, to get rid of one of these if we can. So swinging for 6 here is going to force another card out of the hand. I think right here we're just going to no block, and then we're just going to drop a 2k. Bring us closer to our goal, resolve the attack. Then when Thatch swings, that's when I think we actually do have to get the block in. So we're going to hit this one, and we're going to resolve the attack, and that's gone. And then past that, we play this. And I don't think we put the blocker out because this clearly isn't the kill turn with the way the grave is set up, and you don't want to give them the opportunity to kill your blocker prematurely. So we just leave Red Hawk up and we chill. So we don't have a target and we cancel, and that turn gets ended. We get another cool vanilla out, and then Rebecca is going to draw Dawn. I really do think we just kind of go off kings here. Like, we just play another Sabo. Now that is going to be a huge thing. So we get another Sabo. We have to maintain what Kyrios can do here. We might have actually misplayed because we didn't actually play the Orlumbus first, but it is what it is. So we're going to use Sabo, and we're going to discard this card, and we're going to discard... We want to keep the Kyrios in hand. We want to keep the Kai in hand too. I think I'm just going to drop one of the Orlumbuses, and then I'm going to play the Orlumbus. And this is going to make a pretty interesting go here. We have 9 cards in drop, but what we really need here is the ability to go a little harder. I think the Sabos here are going to do some work. So if we play this right, Orlumbus would not be able to be destroyed, and that's kind of what we want. So right here, there's a lot that we can do. I think... Yeah, we just pass, and then we have to see how he attempts to swing at us. So at this point, you see the 2 Sabos, you see the Luffy, you saw the Gum Gum Jet Pistol come into our hand. So it's like, I feel like on his end, he knows, like, we're gearing up for it. So he's gonna draw. That is an excellent card to get here. I really do think so. That's gonna change the math quite a bit and put me in a position to go very, very hard next turn. Putting this guy up though right now is going to put me to 8k, and if we look at my hand, I've got 1, 2 Radical Beam, so like 6k, followed by, let's see, 8, 10, 12. Okay, so that's 14. That is, and then another, yeah. So we have 18k counter power in hand. So one of the Luffy swings would go through next turn, blocker or not, if we play Whitebeard, but the other one likely would not. And that's all we need, is to stop that shotgun. We also have a lot more potential for a killing turn and actually killing the Luffy on the crackback, but he's got 2 blockers. So this is going to be where it becomes a little precarious. If we don't play Whitebeard this turn, we don't have the same momentum going into next turn. So I think what we do here is we threaten as hard as possible. I'm going to get the 6k swing in on Rebecca. And right now, Rebecca's hand is getting a little weak, but you want to preserve that life, and you don't want to get rid of these blockers quite yet. So I would no block, and I would discard a 2k and resolve the attack. Now, when the Thatch comes through, I think Thatch is possibly too fat to just worry about it. Thatch is going to come through, and I think that if we want to keep the Sabos there, we have to no block it. And that is exactly what I'm going to do, no trigger effect. And then when we play Whitebeard, we now get to go up by how much? Let's see. No draw from life, which is very, very good in this situation. And then we get to actually see where we want to go from here. Yeah. So we get to swing again at Rebecca. Again, these Sabos are very important, and there is 1, 2, 3, 4. There is lethal on board here, even without an ace. So swinging at that, at this point, we have to take it. We have to drop 3 cards, which isn't the worst. I think right now we're fine. So we're gonna no blocker, and we're gonna drop 1, and we're gonna drop 2, and we're gonna resolve the attack. Oh, wow. I guess I can't math, but that's fine. That is fine. We need to make sure that we get closer up to 15, and we are very, very close. That's 1 card. That's okay. So ending the turn, right? We are going to draw here, and we got Coliseum. Not really that great of a card, but it's whatever. We need to make sure that we can reduce these cards real quick. So here's what we should do. He hasn't played a blocker yet, and I feel like this is one of the best chances we're going to get in a little bit, and we need to push pressure. So he's got the thick hand, but this deck doesn't worry about it the same way as other decks would. So I am going to draw my Dawn. I'm going to play Kyrios. Kyrios is going to blow up this guy and mill a card. That puts us at 13. And then after doing that, we are going to use Orlumbus to give a character -4 cost, and then KO one of your Dressrosa characters, right? So I'm gonna do that. We're just gonna give Thatch -4 cost, so he is now a 2 cost, and then we'll attempt to destroy this character, and we'll just tap our leader instead. So that is going to happen. After that, now that we have this many cards in hand, and we have exactly 15, I'm going to go a step further and do this and get another Luffy to my hand. This is actually very, very, very important because we're about to attempt to go much, much harder here. We've got the Sabos to protect us to some degree, and we do need to try to start pushing. So I can't really activate too much here, so we are going to go here, and we are going to put that there. So Luffy is currently a 13,000 power leader. And now we're going to just go hard on the Dawn here. And we are now going to swing at Whitebeard for 16,000. Now immediately, we don't want to burn too many cards in our hand and let them know there's not enough options. So we're going to go into no blocker. We are going to go to 12k. And then we will go up by 14 this, and then we can drop a 1k, which is fine because we need to keep a lot of this for next turn. So that is going to happen, and that has sufficiently softened up quite a bit of the hand. That needed to go, it needed to happen the way it happened. So he's 17, and we will resolve the attack. Now here is the part that gets a little rough, because right now this will choose a Dressrosa type character, and that could be any one of our characters. So right now, I do think that it is not wrong to return 7 cards from the bottom. And right now, there's a lot that we have here, but we can return quite a bit. Kaya is going to be good to see again. We don't need another Luffy because we got one in hand. Another Gum Gum would be pretty good. Kyrios is going to let us destroy more stuff, but I think this one right here is what we need, the Tuntata, because that's going to be one in case he wants to play. We have Orlumbus, and that's going to be very, very good, but the Tuntatas are going to be fine. And then, of course, Rebecca's a searcher. That would have been decent to put at the top. We're fine here. Some of the 2Ks would not be bad either. So once we put all this to the bottom of our deck, we restand and we're going to swing again for 16K. And at this point, he has no choice. If he dropped every card in his hand, that's 10K, 12K, 14K, 16K. You would have to drop every single card in his hand not to take this 2 damage. And there's no guarantee that he survives the following turn. That is kind of the main issue here with the Rebecca Whitebeard matchup. Like, I am close to dying, but the pressure is definitely on, and I have 2 blockers. He has 4 attacks without an ace withholding. So here's what you can do. You can either go down to 0 life this turn and know that you have to kill me next turn, or you can protect this and stay at 1 life. Either way, Luffy's probably going to try to take it. At this point, swinging with this Luffy, you kind of know that you're committed to the swing, and Darren kind of goes that one, you know what I'm saying? So looking at this, what we have the ability to do here is make the decision: do we hold the life or do we discard our entire hand? Discarding our entire hand in the shotgun, essentially, I think the turns are still very much so either or. Next Whitebeard turn is likely its last turn, and so I don't understand the point of trying to drop your entire hand to save this when you could potentially see how next turn plays out and then work from there. So I think at this point we just say no blocker and we resolve the attack and hope that we get an ace, and we don't. So that is going to be a no trigger effect and then a no trigger effect. Now the Ezo might be a good another ace, but we also did get 2 blockers, and that's going to be a huge little get back right here. So we're gonna, at that point in the turn, and now the issue is this Luffy has to go. Like, no ifs, ands, or buts. This Luffy has to go. And so that is kind of the thing. You might want to make them replay it, whatever, but the very first thing I'm trying to do, if I'm here, is I want to split. I want to kill Luffy, but I also want to see if I can potentially, we're going to draw a card here, if I can potentially get rid of the rest of their life too, or some of their blockers. So Luffy is at 7. There's 4 cards in hand. We don't know what they are, of course, but you don't want to take any chances with your biggest swing. So putting up at 12, he would need to discard most of his entire hand to stop this. And at this point, I fear them coming for my life after this with how much Dawn is up. So I'm generally going to let this one go through. I'm fine with that. There's not really a target for Whitebeard to kill, so we're going to cancel that. No blocker, resolve attack, we'll let that go through. And then after that, we start getting into some sneaky territory. Because now that Luffy's gone, you know that you can start applying pressure to the life. So we are going to put this here, and we're going to swing at Rebecca, right? And that'll be fine. We'll swing at Rebecca for 7,000. There's not enough in this hand to block it, and I think I do need the Sabos. So we're going to no blocker, and we're going to take that, giving us Bartolomeo, and then Thatch is going to come through as well. Actually, no. Let me see. If I go 1, 2, but I want to keep my guard points up. We have 7. We have just enough to play all of our defenses. So I think the moment to do this here, no trigger effect, is to swing for 6 to see what we can bait out, right? And that will, in my opinion, no blocker, and I'll bait out the Bartolomeo, which is going to do that. And then Whitebeard, or Thatch, is going to attack here. And once again, with this being in the hand and me knowing that I will not survive another turn with this board, and I can't really push this board off of the board through this hand, I do want to keep all my options up. He has 7 here, and that could be an ace, but if he plays an ace, I'll be able to block it, and he taps out. So I'm okay personally taking this attack. We are going to get the Colosseum. It's going to have no trigger effect. That's fine. Now, the next thing that we're going to do this turn is we are going to play a Fusa and a Fusa, and then we will pass the turn. So he's got cards in hand, and that is something to be wary about. Now, we know how Whitebeard gets down. There's a lot of 2Ks, for sure. And this is going to be, currently Whitebeard from his point of play, you've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 raw counter with guard point and Red Hawk, which is another 7K. So 17K's worth. And so that one's going to be a little rough to push by, but we can take that. I think that's a good place for the Whitebeard person to be, and leaving the Dawn up is going to make it feel super scary. So we're going to draw a card, and now we need to worry about this, because before we can even get through, we need these Fusas gone. So what I am going to do here, I have 1, 2, 3, I have 6. We are going to tap 1 to play, let's see, we're going to play Rebecca. Rebecca's going to search top and not give us anything that we want. So we're just going to take this blocker here. And then we're going to, we have 6 cards in hand, so we're going to use this Rebecca's effect. And that would be the Tuntata. That is what we wanted here. So after that, we now have 15 cards in grave. We are going to give one character this minus cost, right? And we're going to do it on this one and mill 2 more. That's fine. And then we are going to play KO a target. We're just going to KO the Rebecca we just played. And then we're going to play the Tuntata. And we're going to get rid of this one. So looking at this now, I want to just see what we have going on for us. We still have, let's see, 1 Gum Gum King Kong gun. I don't think we have a way to get rid of the other one, but we can try. I have 7, which means I can use 1 more Dawn effect to find another Gum Gum, and that would be preferable. I don't think we have enough cards, like we have put enough cards in the bottom of our deck to get this off effectively, but we can at least try. So Luffy would have been a really good point here, but I actually do think that with 7 Dawn here, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4 attacks. I only have 2 blockers. There is no way that I'm surviving if I don't kill him this turn. So we're going to deploy this, draw 2 cards, and have to discard 2 cards. And we'll discard Olympus and the dead card, right? And then we could put this blocker out. I think we could put this blocker out, and then we have 3 blockers, and he has 4 attacks. Our hand is really weak for that, and I think we're at a point where we needed to kill him. I think this is a downright failure of the Rebecca deck right now. I don't think that we can do anything here. He's got the blocker out. Playing the double blocker at the end was very clutch. Seeing the Whitebeard was very clutch for that turn because it changed a lot of the math. So that is kind of what we have going on here. I want to see what we can do about this blocker. I just don't think there's anything. We would need another Gum Gum King Kong gun. And then swinging with anything in particular, let's see. If the leader was KO'd, you can, yeah, he's just gonna go face next turn. I just don't see it. I can play this on Orlumbus, right? And now he's an 11K double attack, and then I can attach 1 here. And then we can swing on Whitebeard, but that's not even a question. 12K to 6K, you just throw the blocker in front of it. So we're gonna block that, and it's gonna die. And then we can spend our last 2 Dawn playing out an EDO and ending the turn. And now what we have here is we're going to draw a card. It's a Beppo. That doesn't really matter because everything we need is realistically right here. He has we're tapped out, and so you know the maximum I could combo up to is 1, 2, 3. So 3 cards, 11K. So what you want to do, since you only have to get through once and there are 3 blockers, but you have 4 attacks and no rusher, you want to make sure that every attack is a block where it can be. So what we're going to do is we have 2 6Ks. We can easily go 1, 2, 3, 4 and cut the difference because 9K is that number. So swing here, on here, This is immediately gonna have to draw to block because we can't stop 9K, that's fine. And then from there, you can do the same thing here with 3K, and that's just how that's gonna work out. Swing with a 9 again to 5. The Sabo has to come through and take that. Thatch can come through with the same amount, and then Whitebeard comes through. So that's pretty much the end of that game. Let me see if I can play another game without as much explanation and see what goes down. Okay, so here we are again. Once again, we need to make sure that the first hand for the Rebecca deck is a combo setup hand. So we're gonna go again, and we have Rebecca, 2 Gum Gum King Guns, and then a Kaya. So this is gonna be interesting. Whitebeard has a Fusa, an Ezo, a Beppo, a Makino, and a Gum Gum Ready Rock. I think this is more than enough to start off on. So drawing Dawn, we're going to get that. We're gonna immediately, like I said, activate this to see our top 2 cards, and we'll take a Curios for the destruction later. And then we'll end the turn. Whitebeard gets to draw its Dawn, immediately slam out the Ezo. There's no shot I'm not taking that Whitebeard. It's too strong right now. And then we get to put everything else on the top, and then end the turn. Take a card to hand, Makino, not dying anytime soon, who would have thought. Draw a card off of Rebecca, draw Dawn. This time we have a lot more that we can do here. We can play the Rebecca out, and we see not a great selection, but we'll take it. And then we're gonna play out Kaya, and Kaya's gonna draw 2. We're gonna drop this blocker, and I think since we have the Tantata and he's more cost effective, we just drop Curios right now. I think that's just the move. And then at this point, we have 6 cards in hand, so we activate this, we take the Luffy, and we pass. Moving into the following turn, Whitebeard gets to draw a card, gets to draw its Dawn. We don't have any of these normal guys here, any of these vanillas, but we definitely aren't dying anytime soon. So realistically, we just push it. You go up to 7 right here because we know this is kind of a race. You punch Rebecca for 7. Rebecca can definitely get rid of 7 right now, but I don't actually want to drop anything from my hand. So I'm going to no blocker, and I'm just going to take that. Thousand Worlds does return something to the bottom of its owner's deck, and I'm not going to hardcast that right now. Not with the current momentum. He didn't play anything on 4, and so I'm kind of feeling okay right now. We could see a King Honey or a Honeydew, and that would be a massive miss, but I think I'm going to be setting up next turn harder than not. So he's going to end his turn. I'm going to draw a card. It's another Luffy. We can discard that, but we're going to actually just draw our Dawn, play Sabo. Sabo is going to discard 1 Luffy, and to be honest, 1 Corda Coliseum. And we're set for now. We can wait and let this guy take his own life. Next turn, though, we do need to play Luffy. So draw a card. It's Marco. Draw Dawn. We are at 6. I think we do want to get on the board. We have nothing we can really use in the hand right now, and that's fine. We'll save the Fusa for later. So hit this, swing in, right here. Now we do have the ability to drop this, but we still have so many good combo pieces in our hand. I'm just going to take it and hit the no trigger effect. And then we got the Marco coming down. Marco can destroy. It doesn't really matter this much. In fact, to be honest, I'm not going to choose a target. These are things to swing from, but I'm not trying to fill their grave. Like, any card is kind of helpful at this point, right? So we are going to do this and then end the turn. And then next turn, we will draw Dawn. We are willing to play this Luffy out by any means necessary. We'll play that Luffy out, and we will wait. And at this point, he has to know. We're setting up for a very, very, very early kill turn on this one. So we're going to get the end the turn here. I think he knows what's going on here. Like, we're gonna draw a card, right? And we need to pressure, but we also need to make sure we don't die. So draw a Dawn. We're currently at 8. Unfortunate we can't use Whitebeard. I think at this point we know the Fusa needs to come out. That's just not. So we're really working with 6 Dawn here. So we can go 1, 2. We can keep Red Hawk up because we are likely going to have these things coming. 6 Dawn. Yeah, okay. I think that's it. So we swing for 6K here. We're not gonna block, I think, here, but we will discard that to stop that. Now we're at 10 cards. Now Whitebeard can attack as well. And I think this is where we go, and I wouldn't normally throw the blocker here, but we have a potential kill turn set up. So I will actually just hit, we'll attack here, and then I will block with Sabo and resolve the attack. After blocking with Sabo, we start really getting to the funsies, because now I'm going to end the turn, oh, not end the turn, woof. We are going to play Fusa, and then we are going to play the vanilla to mount an offense next turn and leave Red Hawk up, drawing into guard point, which is excellent, but probably using Red Hawk next turn. Now we're in the funnies, okay? He's got 2 life, and we have the ability to do quite a few things. So the first thing I'm going to do here is we are going to draw a card, and then we're going to draw Dawn. We are at 9, good number. We're going to play Orlumbus, and then Orlumbus is going to give a character minus 4k cost, which is going to be there, and then we're going to pop Rebecca, giving us 14, and now you're seeing magic numbers. We are going to now deploy the Tontata, and we are going to use the card action to kill that, and now we're at 16. Now we can use the give a Dressrosa type 6k power, which is that, and then we're going to put our last Dawn under Luffy. And now he's double attack, and we are going to swing on Whitebeard. 14,000 to 16. Now, at this very moment, if I were to give everything I had to, if I was to give everything I had to Luffy, right? This would be, this would take us to 10k. And we would easily be able to get above this, but it's the next turn that we are going to have to worry about. So I think right here and now, we have to, no blocker, we have to go into Gum Gum Red Hawk. Again, we don't want to put anything in his grave that we don't need to, so that's 10k. And then we will Machina, we will Beppo, and then we don't want to over counter. So I think we just drop Honeydew, getting him to 15. And then we resolve the attack. The moment this happens, Luffy has to do this. We have to put these down to the bottom. This is gonna be the top. Just in case we need to get out another blocker out of the way, we're gonna hit the Tontata, we're gonna hit the Tontata. Rebecca's gonna be fine. We don't need Orlumbus. Like I said, these things don't really matter because we're gonna try to close out next turn. And then we are going to get that done. And we should close out from here, I think, yeah. We need 2 more cards, and we're going to get another Sabo and another Bartolomeo. Restand him so that doesn't happen again, then we're going to end the turn. Ping! So, next, we have a point where Whitebeard's going to draw a card. Draw Dawn. We are at 10. We're probably going to play the Whitebeard because right now we have 2k, 4k, 6k, and then a guard point. All of our hand is liquid outside of that. So we want to start pushing on what we can do here. Swing in for 6, and this is kind of the rough part here. We're going to swing in for 6, no blocker. You're going to immediately chump that. There's just no way we're not. Resolve the attack. We're going to go in for another 6k because we definitely need to put them in kill turn. We are getting ridiculously close in scariness. And then after that, we are going to no blocker again, hit the Gyats, and resolve the attack again. And that's when I think right now we have no better things to do than to mount the offense. Swing here with Whitebeard for 8k. It has to go through. We literally can't do anything. We'll take a card. And this is super unfortunate, but this says pick 1 character cost of 3 or less and return to the owner's deck. We don't have anything. We're just gonna keep it in hand. He's gonna intern, he's gonna take no life. And then we will draw a card. And then we will draw Dawn. So now with this maximum out, the only thing we can do here is just attempt to take this person. So actually we should have just used this. That was one mistake I did not do correctly. So anywho, we are going to go and use this effect, right? On, why not, on Marco. After using this on Marco and milling 2, we are now going to use Rebecca's effect. Oh, select character to KO. We're just going to KO Kaya, why not? Dressrosa effect. So we do that. We don't technically need to use Rebecca's effect. I don't think so at this point. He has no blockers, so we don't even need to use that Dawn. We have 15 here, and so we just strike it. We are literally going to play this on Luffy. Luffy is going to get up 6k, and then we just put every single Dawn we have on Luffy. Now, Luffy is going to swing for 20,000. Even if we use every card in our hand, we are going to go up to 11k, 13k, 14k, sorry, 11k, 13k, 15k, and then this is 16, or 17k, 18k. So we don't have that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're gonna go to 18k, and that's not 20k. So we have to no blocker it, and we have to resolve the attack, which is going to get us an ace, which is deadly, and it's gonna get us a radical beam. Now looking at the math, things can be particularly different. Now that we have the radical beam, we have to make a hard choice. We can't use, like, if we use the radical beam, it's essentially going to be at the cost of this, and we're going to be at 19k at this point. However, if we use the radical beam as its trigger, we're going to be at a base 9k. So 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. So either way, it doesn't do anything. We can use the trigger effect and go up to 3k, and then what ends up happening is Luffy is going to return 7. It does not matter which 7 we return, and we are going to swing again for the second one, and we can no blocker because he didn't get a blocker. We can activate this guard point. We can go this, 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 and this, and as you can see, we hand it out and we lose by 1k. So you've seen how Whitebeard can still come on top, but you've also seen how Rebecca tends to ball versus Whitebeard. This is the heart and soul of the matchup, and this is also why this deck is so effective at what it does versus Whitebeard. So if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. I will be happy to answer all of them. I'm really trying to get back into my bag for content creation, and I'm excited to show you guys what is next on this channel between Dragon Ball Super, between One Piece, between Battle Spirits. I'm actually thinking about putting Lorcana on the channel, so let me know what you guys think. But yeah, I'm gonna leave a quick message from MysticTCG so you guys know where to buy all your sealed product coming up, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks. So let's talk about MysticTCG, your one-stop shop for all your TCG needs. On the site, you can buy or pre-order plenty of sealed product for plenty of games. Just make sure though, if you're pre-ordering, to give it 3 to 4 months in advance to start looking, because sometimes the product is indeed hot, supply and demand, you know? And then if you want to buy singles, go on tcgplayer.com. There's going to be a link in the description where you can buy for the best value. And if you want to sell cards or collections, you can message them on their Facebook site so you can get the best bang for your buck on any type of way you want to buy or sell cards. And then while you're at it, you can use the code UNIXTCG at checkout to get even more of a discount. So hey, what are you waiting for? Check out MysticTCG today.